to the one from there. So what we're gonna do is, in the last video we kind of rambled on a little bit, so what we're gonna do today is we're gonna start playing the game like I promised. And honestly, I've already played through most of the game. I have all the characters unlocked, even the OG himself, the original 1964 Godzilla, which honestly kind of suits today. So if we're gonna start from anywhere, I think we should start with the granddaddy, and then we'll work our way back down to the Godzilla. I did originally play this game back in, like, I want to say 2 years ago, so like almost 3 years ago, so like 2019 I finally got caught up on everything, and I got a PS4 because I had gotten lost in the times. I originally had a different YouTube channel, which I cannot talk about right now because that's under legal issues. But right now what we're gonna do is what I promised in the last video, guys. We're gonna play some Godzilla. And what better way to do it than the king of OGs himself? Bring it! By the way, yeah, I'm only gonna be doing like the battles right now. I'm gonna save the actual playthrough for a special event for unsaid reads. Oh. By the way, speaking of the original Godzilla, I always used to think that his design was kind of goofy. Like, I know the original Gojira definitely looks different from this Godzilla, because this is as far back as we can get with like the American copyright for our terms. We can only get so far back. I know that Toho and Japan are holding on to the original Gojira design for dear life. Nobody's ever gotten that. But this Godzilla, I remember him growing up as a kid, and I remember him fighting Mothra for the first time. It was the most amazing thing. Or when he fought Kong, because I'm pretty sure it was the original Godzilla suit that they made after Gojira, when they were doing, you know, introducing more monsters and trying to make the story arc a little bit larger for the universe to expand and everything. And I really appreciate this Godzilla. Even though he is kind of dippy and klutzy looking, I mean, he really was a good design. I mean, the dorsal plates, they remain generally the same throughout the series because this one set the iconic face. And you can even see, like, in the hints of it from, like, this generation to, like, the, the Showa, no, the Heisei Godzilla, yeah. Like, the detail, oh my gosh, I love the costume design, and it's also really good that in this game, back when it was made in 2014, that they kept so dedicated to the designs of what came before them. I mean, and here we're talking about this in what, 2022? Going on 2023, we're gonna have like the future going on in one of the Godzilla videos. At least in Godzilla vs. Ghidorah, they plan that out, and it's not gonna happen until like another 150 plus years in the future. But still, sidetracking. I do believe this is one of the most interesting Godzilla designs because it was iconic for the era. It was part of a definitely different generation. Not only an era, but a different generation. Excuse my speaker there in the background. You can be part of a different era, but also be part of the same generation. While as this was part of a different, like, it's its own thing when it was introduced, this design. Because, I mean, look at him, he's goofy looking, he's got cartoonistic looking features, but at the same time, in the real mix, he does have the right biology to him, to exist as a real monster. That's one of the things that I really appreciate that the new Legendary series has. I mean, they're looking at the old Toho, and the people that have made the recent incarnations, like Godzilla, King of the Monsters, and Godzilla vs. Kong, those guys, they know Godzilla. They know the old Toho style, but also to Americanize it. Not just be like, oh, hey, we're going to slap this monster in the face and call it Godzilla like they did in the 1998 version. And you even see it today, how they're trying so hard, which I appreciate, to adjust it. Because if you guys ever watch Netflix, there's also a TV series called Godzilla Singular Point, which was also an amazing series. I loved Godzilla Singular Point. I loved the Godzilla design. I loved his powers. I loved the Jet Jaguar design, even though it was very different from what we eventually got from the old Toho movies. And I really hope they come back for a second season. Please come back for a second. Please come back for a second season. Anyway. I don't know. This always just had a soft spot, because every time that you saw Mothra for the first time, and you saw Godzilla, especially one of his weirdest eruptions, was out of dirt. And this Godzilla popped up, and it's like, whoa, what's going on, bro? He always just played like the grandfather role, which I love, because even his atomic breath isn't that strong. Like, look at this, watch. Oh, Rodan. Oh wow, it took the whole beam to take him down. Yeah, the original Godzilla's breaths weren't really that powerful, but that's also due to the evolution of Godzilla throughout the years. Of course, in his later years, he's going to become stronger, be more powerful, different evolutions would happen, new ideas, just Hollywood, you know, always adding on that one more thing. And even our new MonsterVerse version of Godzilla has the same thing. I mean, when you look at it, in the older movies, Godzilla acquired his red spiral ray and also his atomic beam. I mean, not his atomic beam, his atomic breath abilities after that. From just that interaction after the incident with Rodan and Mechagodzilla 3. And we're looking at this modern version of Godzilla, and he has to have Mothra's power to be able to initiate him to an atomic state, or even something close to that. I know what you're gonna say. What am I talking about? But when you look at it in the older movie, there is a red surge that happens in Godzilla when he wakes up after Rodan is absorbed. Same thing as in King of the Monsters. I love that they did that. That was a Rodan cameo, since he wasn't able to help Godzilla in the King of the Monsters. He played more of a survivalist role. Rodan, in my eyes, during the MonsterVerse, he's alright. He's not really trustworthy, but at the same time, he's probably not not worthy to be hated. Getting back to the point, when we look at that, it's a completely different situation. When Godzilla went thermonuclear in the older movies, it was during Godzilla vs. Destroya, and he was having a natural meltdown, and it was an entirely different story. And that's obviously, like I said, it's going to happen with the changing times. They're obviously going to have to mix things up. But the way that they did it in this universe, I don't believe, it's really a bad thing. I mean, the original way of it was terrible. So they kind of actually made it better. Instead of Godzilla having to go thermonuclear and melt down and everything in this current era, then we wouldn't have Godzilla movies anymore. So they gave us the best part first, which only means there's nowhere to go but up, right? Sidetracking from this video, oh my gosh, we are going back to playing. Oh no, Matra. By the way, another thing in Mothra's design I loved, and my girlfriend loves her too. My girlfriend's favorite monsters, not Mothra, ironically are my monsters' sidekicks. My favorite monsters are Godzilla and King Ghidorah. And her favorite monsters are Mothra and Gigan, which is their sidekicks. And I've always noticed that, and I love it because we've talked about getting Godzilla and Mothra tattoos together, which is something that's probably going to be in a video, because she just recently told me that she bought some equipment. She's going to start up her channel soon. So we're going to have some collabs, guys. Finally see some faces, because she's got a camera coming too. I'm working on getting a camera, but I would rather have a GoPro so that way I can do, you know, outside and inside at the same time. So we're still waiting on see what's gonna happen. I just recently had to buy a truck battery for my truck. I mean, I had to buy a battery for my truck, so yay. It's always nice to shovel out $130 on something that you just wanted to go to McDonald's with. Literally, I only wanted to go to McDonald's, and then my battery died, and I was stuck at a gas station. Luckily, my cousin works at the gas station. Still, I still had to call my neighbor to get me home. And today, we fixed it, so yay! Problem solved, easy peasy. $120 later, $130 later, whatever. Anyway, we're getting back to Godzilla. Sorry, guys, we got a little bit too off track there. Ooh. Speaking of which, since we're fighting Biollante, this is also one of my favorite kaiju, because I feel like she's really underwhelmed. She needs to be part of the Legendary Saga, because if they're like even planning on having Destroya, they need to have Biollante first, because she was like the original big boss that made Godzilla even look kind of tiny. She was, you know, obviously the crossbreed between a plant, a girl, and some Godzilla cells. It was a rose specifically for the plant. And her first form actually doesn't look anything like her second form. Because other than the green and like upright stature, that's about it. Because in her first form, she looks like a giant rose with a couple teeth poking out. And her tendrils are actually lodged in the ground underneath. But when she needs to start fighting combat mode, she turns into this thing. It's a crocodilian, like freaking boar, Godzilla, weird plant-looking hybrid with hentai tentacles. Sorry. Anyway. Seriously, what that mouth do? What did Godzilla do to you for you to have that mouth? What the heck? You got the wrong side of the gene, sister. And since this was a Heisei villain, this is actually a little bit harder for the Showa Godzilla. Yeah, it is a little bit harder for the Showa Godzilla. Because normally I would have had her already because of the atomic breath. But the Showa atomic breath isn't that strong. Oh, she's scary now. I'm just an old man. I'm just an old man. No, leave me be. But I'm just old. You can deal with my frickin' grandson. His name is Legendary. As he's gonna give you a legendary whoop-assing if you do not leave me be. Please leave me be. I said go! Sorry, I like to give him voices sometimes. You know, honestly, what Altiori does on her channel, I've been thinking about doing that. Like, my own, like, POVs of the monsters themselves. Because I feel like I can make some pretty good stories, too. Or even collab with her. If Altiori, if you're listening right now, please collab with me. I've been one of your biggest fans ever since you started a channel. and I've seen your avatar evolve in so many different ways. Please, let me call out. That'd be awesome. Anyway, guys, so what we were talking about with Biollante, one of the other reasons why she's also one of my favorites is because she wasn't really that of a benevolent kaiju. She was more of a malevolent after what happened to her, because she seems like she was wanting revenge after being created, honestly. And seeing the way that she was created, I could understand. I wouldn't want to be birthed in this world out of a fucking test tube, be a fucking weird, like, deformed creature that shouldn't exist. But also, one of the worst thing is too, Biollante was cursed with immortal life technically, because her spores can take her wherever she needs, and she can disintegrate her actual body. So that was already explained after Space Godzilla showed up. So when you think about it, Biollante evolved into Space Godzilla. I know it's not canon, but when you think about it, and like the mythos, the imaginary, it would be pretty cool to imagine, like, after Godzilla and Biollante first squared off, and she couldn't beat him, that's when after she hitched a ride to Mothra when she went into space, and that's when Space Godzilla was made, to think that she was Space Godzilla, you know? Like, she came back in a vengeance with a different form. Like that as like a case scenario for like an alternate reality, that would be pretty cool. And it would also explain why she's able to, you know, interact with nature and have that like plant-like quality, because technically rocks are part of nature, of course. Well, technically part of nature. They're totally part of nature. You know what I mean? Like if you look at like special gems, like rubies, diamonds, anything like that, they are naturally born in nature. And after some plant matter, biological matter isn't impacted, and you know, processed over a long period of time through fossilization, crystals can form depending whether they're like your volcanic outlets and stuff like that. I mean, it would be nice for them to go like into a full depth, like weird thing where Biollante eventually evolved into Space Godzilla. I mean, that's just a random scenario in my head, honestly. That I have a million of them, including where like Godzilla eventually evolves wings or something, but still. So we're on the last fight. Ooh. We survived Biollante. Can we survive Kiryu? Let's try and do it, guys. No. One from the future, one for the past. I don't give a cause I kick your, you know, rockets. Yeah, I'm gonna kick your rockets. Oh, I hate censorship on YouTube now. Unless you have to, like, you know, fight for a claim like Jacksepticeye and Markiplier have to do to, like, cuss on their channels. You have to be rated, like, an 18 or up only or something. Or you have, like, the general public audience and you can still do that. Oh my gosh, by the way guys, Kiryu was also one of my favorites during the Millennium series. I said in my last video that the Millennium Saga was actually the one that got me hooked, besides like the older films. The first time that I ever saw Mechagodzilla in a new format after the 2000 series, I was blown away because it was a completely new redesign. It was this guy, the big, scary Kiryu, that was made from the old Godzilla that got terminated, you know, way back when. But still, I was blown away, and I got immediately hooked. His backstory is so tragic. He's the original Godzilla. Actually, I think he's me. I am this Kiryu because I think like lore-wise, the Godzilla that I'm playing as is the one that got killed and is now Kiryu. So I'm basically fighting my future self right now. I believe, I think. Although, it's kind of hard to tell. During the Heisei and Showa, like, passing, Godzilla kind of got a little sketchy in his design, so... Woo! I guess if anything, I kicked my own butt. Alright, guys. Well, that's gonna do it for this episode today. We played through the OG Godzilla, so next we're gonna be doing, I believe, the Heisei Godzilla. Just so we can talk a little bit more and talk about what's going on in the future videos. Always looking out for more tidbits and some help, guys. Send me some shout outs. I'm also on TikTok at Jessica Stello. So, until the end, guys, this has been the Slayer. See you later.